Hey YouTube, it's SoulPrime13 again with another video review, and today we're going to be looking at the Bingo Toys Jezzy, which is their take on jazz, and I do believe this is supposed to be an IDW design. I did look up to see what the design was based off of. Like, I just typed in IDW jazz on Google, and I didn't see any designs exactly like this, but this figure did come up in that search within like the top 3 results, so I don't really know. Either way, it's a cool design. I definitely dig it. But yeah, I am very thrilled with this figure. We'll start by taking a quick look at the packaging. So here we got Jezzy on the front, doing a cool pose. We got Jezzy BT07. Here we got a little bit more of that like render, just Jezzy. And here we got his very neato vehicle mode, which I definitely think fits jazz. Nothing on the bottom. Then we got some stuff on the back. And yeah, that's about it for the packaging. And of course we get a ever lovely instruction booklet. And yeah, these are not great. They are not great. I wouldn't say they're the worst, but there are definitely some parts that confused me. And I don't like how tiny the pictures are either. That was definitely a bit of a thing. But yeah, there's that. And moving on to the figure himself, we'll take a quick look at him. We do got some nice paint details. We got his stripes there, number 4. We got silver on that face with that traditional blue visor. Got a little bit of gold there on his head crest. Have a little bit of sort of a gunmetal gray area on the back of the hands, and got some hair on the doors, some more of that like gold, and some silver on the legs. And I do believe there is some die cast in the feet. Yeah, the bottoms are die cast. And he does have a racing stripe butt flap. And we do get a little bit of that red there too. Very nice. And we do get some like mechanical detailing here on his tummy, on his abs. So that's cool. As far as articulation goes, he does have a ball jointed head and a very nice range of motion. He does also have a double hinge in his neck, so you can get some weird do kind of stuff going on there. As far as the shoulders, they do rotate 360. Do have a bicep swivel. We do get a double jointed elbow, so a good range of motion. And there is actually some moving parts in his elbow, which is neat. His hand does have a 360 rotation, and he does have fully articulated hands. Does have a, so it's for his thumb, it's a ball joint hinge, and then for the fingers, it's ball joint hinge. Yeah, fully articulated, as it should be. But there is one thing that does bother me about the hands, but we'll get to that a little bit later. He does have a significant ab crunch because he's got like all these segments in his waist. He does get side to side crunch too, which is really cool. Full 360 waist. The hip skirts can move up, back skirt can move. These are actually on a swivel as well. Can kick very far forward, very far back, can do the full splits, and he does get over 90 at the knee. Now there is an issue with the knee in that you can sort of see the tab is really small and doesn't stay connected when you bend the knee. It kind of pops out. You can grip the knee higher up to stop that from happening, sort of, but it is just kind of what it is. We do get a little bit of thigh rotation there, some collision there though. But yeah, there's that. And he does have ball jointed feet, so you get plenty of motion in the feet. You also get some back and forth due to the transformation there, as well as you can get some side to side at the ankle, again due to the transformation joints. So he does have plenty of posability. You also do have some options with the doors. The doors do come packed separately. You can see they just peg onto these little metal armatures here. These are made of die cast. But yeah, they just are on a swivel here and a hinge, so you can pose them how you want. These also do move up and down, mostly for transformation, but you can get them in different positions if you want. I like to keep them sort of like this, angled and close to his back. But there are some things you could do, and like I said, you can take them off because they're packed separately. I also noticed this earlier when I was messing with him, transforming him. But these doors, the tabs and slots on the bottoms are actually not identical, so you can actually come back here and tab these doors together if you want, like so. But the only issue with that is now the arms are like sticking out, so there is a bit of a gap on his back when you do that. So it's not a perfect solution, but if you want that, you can, and you know, you can like probably lower them to make them sit a little more hidden like that. Come on, stop sticking. And yep, see, pops right off. What is going on? There we go. Jeez, wanna just pop that back on. And these were a lot harder to get in the very first time, but now they come off pretty smoothly. But yeah, you could have that there in the back if you want to like sort of hide his doors for the silhouette. But yeah, I don't mind him having door wings, but you do have plenty of options for how you want to deal with that. I just put these back. Now, let's talk accessories. So he does come with a few, and I have some mixed feelings about them. So all of his accessories have a thing where they can combine together, so to speak, because he gets 2 speakers, 2 guns. One is his blaster, one is his shoulder launcher, and then these 2 like energon swords, blades. I think they're long enough to be swords. I feel they're too big to be daggers for sure. But yeah, as you can see, they all combine together. There's just this one just has some interlocking slots, and you can also peg these together like so if you want, because they both have this peg piece. The guns you can peg side to side. This is how they come packaged. The only thing that doesn't come together in the package, I believe, was the swords, but it's pretty obvious that they could go together because of the way the handles are. So this you can tab together on the sides. It does work for both sides. As you can see, they both have tabs on the sides on either side. So, but another thing it does is there's this tab here in the back, and you can do that. I don't know why you would. It looks stupid, and you basically have one barrel facing towards you, which is dumb. But yeah, that's a thing you can do. I don't know why you would. It doesn't really seem to have a function in this mode, but yeah, you can split them apart, and there's tabs here on the inside for that, and then there's these, and we'll talk about these in the car mode. But as far as equipping all of his accessories, the speakers can go in a couple places. They can go in his shoulders right here. You can see there's sort of a little gap right there. and that can go there. Or you can have them on his forearms, like so. Now, they aren't gonna like fall off from like shaking him, but they also aren't, as you can see, they aren't the most secure. And unfortunately, that seems to be the case for most of the connection points for the speakers. They like just don't want to stay attached super well. I was hoping that like you could put them like on the doors, like here, but they don't fit there. There's not really anywhere for them to tab on the back of the doors. I haven't really seen anything on like the side of the legs or anything. There's something to do with these, but that's more for the car mode, which we will talk about later. But yeah, there just doesn't seem to be a lot. I don't know if they will fit on these like arms. I haven't actually tried that. It doesn't seem like there's quite enough room though. Yeah, there's like not enough room in there. I think it's too big, or like collides with the door too much rather. So yeah, I can't put it there. I like to keep him on his forearms, but again, like the connection isn't much more stable than that on the shoulders. It's okay, but it's kind of a bummer because I think the speakers are a really cool piece to include. The swords, you have some options. You can put them in his hands individually. There is a slot here in the handle, and he does have a tab in his palm, and you just stick that there and wrap his fingers around, and there he's got his sword. Both of his say he tried to move the arm and just got a speaker. Both of his side skirts have a little peg hole that can hold it. And of course you can have them with one in each hand or one on each side skirt, or as mentioned, you can combine them. We're just gonna finagle this together, so you can have them with a dual-sided blade like that. So there's that. We're just gonna stick these on the sides to look cool. And one small, very nitpicky issue with the blades is that they are identical. They're not mirrored, so like certain things will look weird if you try and put them a certain way, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in vehicle mode too, because there are some different ways to store them in the vehicle mode. And I guess I can mention this now, but you can theoretically put them here on the wheels because they do tab in there for the vehicle mode. It looks a little weird there being on like the side of his calf though, so I'd say keep them up here. And then now for the guns, what I usually do is, fine, you can go sit off to this side then. What I like to do is I like to put his gun in his hand, just the same tab slot thing, and it's secure enough. I mean, it's about as secure as any other tab slot palm connection. Still not as good as the ever superior rail system, but it holds well enough, and it's decently secured there. But yeah, I like to put the gun in his hand, and the rocket launcher does have that same slot, but it does have a tilting handle. And if you come here to his back, there is a round port here on his backpack, and you can just plug that in like so. And now he has his shoulder launcher. So, looks very neato. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do a couple size comparisons here. I'll do a couple. Here we have with the Legacy Leader Blitzwing, just to see how he compares to a Voyager quote-unquote leader. And here he is next to Studio Series 86 Jazz. So he's definitely a big boy. I do believe he is supposed to be the masterpiece scale, so yeah, he's actually probably a bit bigger than that, but either way, the scale isn't that big of a deal to me. I actually prefer oversized toys. But there is that. Now, I think that's about it for the robot mode. But yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to the transformation. And I actually do dig this guy's transformation, so first thing we're going to do is take his accessories off. I'm going to unhook this from the back. Take this out of his hand. And we'll get him ready to transform. But right before we do that, I do need to talk about... Oh, this is not angled right. There we go. I wonder if it was sitting a little funny. The only real tolerance slash quality issue I have, like, I'm not even sure if it's really an issue or not, but I am worried about it, is so the first step is to open this up and to flip his fist in, and you kind of have to get it to fit, you have to fold his thumb down like so that his thumb and his fingers are curled up like that, and then fold it in. And I don't know if this is just a really stiff joint, but it feels like it's catching on the thumb. Yeah, you can see it's pushing the thumb actually, and pushing the fingers around. So I worry about how that's going to affect this figure over time, just because it does seem to catch there, and sometimes it pushes out of the way, but other times it feels like it's catching really bad. But you know, the fingers do move, so you can sort of wiggle them around to prevent that, but I do worry about that. But that's pretty much the biggest issue I have with this figure, is that right there. So then you just close that up, and we're going to do the same with the other side. Going to bring that thumb around and fold it down, scrunch those fingers together, and we're gonna open that up. Yeah, and this side feels like it's catching a lot more. And then we just, yeah, get that folded in there, and then there is that. Then we're gonna come back here, and you're actually gonna take this little bar looking piece here and fold it all the way up. Then we're gonna take this backpack and we're gonna unclip it like so, and sort of fold it out like that. Then we're going to come here to the shoulder pieces, and this sort of wheel well piece, we're gonna wiggle off the back a little bit, wiggle off the back, and we're just gonna sort of pull them up ever so slightly to give us clearance to bring this whole assembly with the window and the backpack up. Oh wait, no, not that part yet. After we do that, we gotta untab his chest top parts. Then we can bring this up like that. Then what we're gonna do is we're just sort of gonna bring this up on this little armature here, and we're gonna fold down this vent. Actually, you know what? I should probably get this in the shot. How about that? Oof. Okay, so we're gonna fold this part out, and then you're gonna bring this whole assembly up, and that's gonna let you double hinge his head back underneath, like so. And you're gonna want to sort of watch underneath as you pull this through, because sometimes it does catch a little bit on this black part, but it's not too hard to get it to wiggle around it. Anyway, there is that. Then we're going to come here to the arms, and we're going to fold this out, and you're going to sort of want to wiggle the whole wheel out. You can see it's on these double hinge arms here on both the front and the back, and you're going to make sure that this is up. You're going to fold this underneath like so, so the wheel's on the outside now. Then you're going to fold that whole bit back up, and I'm just going to sort of put these arms down a little bit just to keep them out in the open, because there's a certain way you're going to want to tab them in later, but we're just going to do the same thing on this side. Just bring it around and flip that around and bring that wheel back as I somehow magically get it caught here. Stop being caught. Yeah. Stop it. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Make sure that that is flush against that as much as you can for now. Then these pieces are going to come up and then tab in like so. And make sure that this is flush too. Come on. Stop fighting with me. Bring it in there. And just to show you now, these pegs and these tabs are going to go here. Here, let me use this little pointer. The circular peg is going to go right here. There's a little divot. It's kind of hard to see right there. And then this is going to go right here when you bring it all together. But for now, you're just going to kind of set it there. And yeah, pretty sure we want, yeah, we want the elbows facing out like so. Anywho, we're going to come back here to the window. We're going to fold these two pieces out to the side like so. And what we're going to do is, I believe we want to bring this back, and they are going to not exactly tab, but they are going to sort of soft lock into place because of the way they're shaped like that. Then you're going to flip this piece down like so. And then as for the doors, you're going to bring them out to the side, bring them out to the side. And you're going to want to make sure that this slider all the way down, or in this case all the way forward. And this side is really sticking today. There we go. Because when you bring it together, you want the windows to all match together. And these little tabs here are going to go right in here, in this little divot right there. But we're not going to tab those in yet because we got to deal with the legs first. So we're going to come back here to butt flap. Then we want to come here and unplug butt flap, and from the top as well. It's on a double hinge like so. We're also going to come to the front and untab the crotch plate like so. And then the hip section will split. You're going to bring it out and raise it up. Out and raise it up. Now for these side pieces, what we're going to do is, I'm going to bring this down a little bit, but we're going to, like I said, they rotate. They're on a hinge. You're going to rotate that around, bring this up, and fold it up like that. So we're going to bring this up and around like that. And you're also going to want to take these pieces right here on the side of his like mid-torso, and you're going to fold those up. Fold those up. And then this piece right here on his back will fold down right here. And just to make sure I don't forget to mention it, there is, I'm pretty sure it was that part, wasn't it? Oh. Oh, was it? Oh. Could have sworn, I thought there was like a piece that like hooked together onto this bar. Maybe it's somewhere else I'm thinking of. It looks like it's here, but it's not. Yeah, maybe I mentioned it. Like I said, the instructions are not the best. Anyway, we're going to come down here to the legs, and there's a few things to keep in mind while we're doing this. Nothing overly complicated, but so make sure that these are up and to the side like they're supposed to be. Come on. Gotta make sure that these the hinges aren't down when I rotate them because they like to move a little bit easier. But let's see, should be able to. Pretty sure that this is supposed to tab in now. No, well, not yet. Anyway, first of all, we're going to bring this whole foot assembly down a little bit, and we're going to come here to the feet, and these little square pieces are going to rotate over until they're lined up with that front of the top of the foot, rather. Same on both sides. It is on both sides. Then you're going to push up on the front side by the toe. Come on. Come on. There we go. Depending on how you push on it, it comes off easy or it holds really securely. But you basically want to take that, and then you're going to flatten it out like that. Then you're going to take this piece right here. You're going to bring that up and double hinge it like so. And then for the kneecap, again, there is like a way where it will hold and a way that it will slide, and you just kind of want to wiggle it. Usually I find gripping it, from like the bottom section and then pulling forward lets it slide out. Then you're going to bring it forward, and this is that part where the knee is supposed to peg in that doesn't hold as well as it should, but you just fold that down, and then you're going to sort of push that back like so. Then you can take the whole front of the knee, and actually, no, we want to bring this forward and fold this around with the foot, and you're going to collapse the leg on a double hinge in the knee, and you're just going to bring that together, and as you can see here, it'll sort of compress, and the part that is the knee here is going to sort of go up against the back of his thigh, and then you can close that back up like so. Then so there are a couple things here. You're going to want to bring this forward and rotate the wheel around like so till it's facing forward, or rather that these gold vents are facing forward. Then you're going to take this part here, you're going to fold that down, and you're going to sort of angle it, and you're going to want to swap these around. Have this part that is going to be the spoiler up, and then this part with the foot down. So you're going to take the foot, you're going to rotate it around, and then bring it inwards like so, and then you are going to want to, hold on, you're going to want to just want to make sure I'm doing this right, because I don't think I am doing this right. Am I doing this right? No. Okay, you want the armature facing out so it'll slide in here. So it'll slide in here, and make sure that you get this tab right here. You're going to this slot right here, like so. Make sure you're there, and then with this, you want to rotate the foot around, like so, and then you're going to compress that ankle. And you can just sort of get this out of the way, and then we're going to do the same with the other side, rinse and repeat. So we're going to bring the foot down, we're going to rotate this part. Sorry about that, I apparently hit the 29-minute limit on my camera again. Anyway, so we're just doing the second leg, same as before. You can sort of see where the tab is right here. And again, you're just going to grab like right at the bottom there and pull forward, and it'll release real easy, because if you if I can get it back in there properly, if you pull on the top it holds, but if you pull from the bottom, there we go, yeah, and then you pull that in, pull that back, open all of this up. We're gonna compress that leg. Squeaky black stick, ew, squeaky. And we close that back up, rotate that wheel around, like come on, There we go. Rotate that around, and we're going to bring this out and then bring this up and angle it so we can swing it past. Bring this down. Then so from here we want the foot like so and like so. Well, no, but yeah, you get that in there, and then you compress the ankle, and the top of the toe will tab on to this tab right here, like so. And then want to make sure those feet are angled, or the hips rather. Oh, I almost forgot. And on each foot near the back there is a little flip out tab. One is on the top side, one is on the bottom side, like so, and they just go together like this. And now we can bring these his hip skirt piece back, and I do believe, yeah, for this there is two little tabs here that are going to go over these two, or there's slots that are going to go over these tabs on the end of the toe where you can see the die cast, and it's going to go in there. And there are tabs here that are going to go into like these slots on the inner side of the legs. Sort of see there, here and here. Make sure that this all slugs together, and then you're going to take the crotch plate, and then that's also on a double hinge, and you're going to bring that and do the same for these tabs over here. You want to make sure that they're all lined up. Squeeze that nice and tight, and there we go. And now we have the back of the car done, or mostly. You can go ahead and do the spoiler now if you want. You basically just fold this out and rotate it around. The same on the other side, and then you can see that it just sort of tabs together here in the middle. Ah, too tight. There we go, like so. Now we have the back of the car totally done. Make sure that these stinking things are in the right place again. Anyway, we're on our final stretch here, so we're going to bring the whole part of this around and underneath the hood. Make sure that these don't spread off to the side. That's not what we want. Yeah, come on. Oh, is it supposed to be a little lower? Maybe. I don't think so. I think it's just being finicky. Hey, come on. Work with me here. But yeah, you can sort of see where this armature tabs into this black part right down here. And then you're going to want to bring this together, as mentioned before, and make sure that's up. So there's a tab here in the red that's going to go into the bumper, and then there are those two tabs I mentioned earlier on the underside. Just going to make sure that everything comes together here. And then for this, we want to, was it this way, or yeah, we get everything lined up and flush on the bottom side first before we worry about what goes where, honestly. Then once we get that, we can bring this whole hood assembly down. And you can see there's sort of a molded shape for where the windshield all needs to go. Right here. That'll all come together. Now you're going to peg this black section back here. Yeah, there's a little tab here and here. That's going to go here and here. And then the window tabs are going to go there and there. We don't want to tab the windows in completely yet, because after we get this here tabbed in and complete the roof, still got some stuff we gotta do. Did I misaligned stuff again? Shouldn't be. Yeah, we want to make sure. And why is it not tapping together now? I'm supposed to push these further forward. Maybe that's it. Make sure that everything's lining up properly. There we go. Make sure that lines up. Make sure that this front part is tabbed together. It's coming undone again. It's usually not this much of a hassle. I mean, sometimes I get these arm pieces mixed up, but usually it's not too big of a hassle. Anyway, for this final step, you need to get the car door, this part here, this little slot, it's going to tab in right here. So you're going to want to get that under, pull that over. And you need to slide the window underneath the roof, like so. As you do that, bring that up, and then you can tab this part into the door, tab the door into the top, and then you're gonna tab there's a little tab there. You can sort of see that on the inside of the door that's going to go into the arm. And that part does like to fight a little bit. I've had that one does fight me on a regular basis. There it goes. And we just make sure that that's squozen together. And I'll show you, this is the slot on the arm, and this is the tab. This is the tab right here. But yeah, we want to wiggle that under so that the windshield tabs under here. Bring this under and around. Tab the wheel well into the door. Tab the door into the arm. Give it a good squeeze in all directions. And straighten out that spoiler again a little bit. Angle it. And there we have Jazz in his vehicle mode. And it is definitely a very nice vehicle mode. I really do dig it. It looks great. It looks like something Jazz would transform into. It is his kind of eccentric. I truly do believe that. Anyway, going over the car a little bit. He does have pinned-in wheels with rubber tires, but they do kind of sit against the inner part of the wheel well, so they don't seem to roll super smoothly. But he does roll. Yeah, there is some added friction, so let's see. Do have some nice paint here for the tail lights that was on the back of the legs, and the back of the feet now form a thruster. It'd be kind of cool if there was like a flame accessory to put in there. Still got that detailing on there. That stripe now combines to go all the way across the top. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. But now we'll talk about the accessories again, starting with the controversial speakers. So there are a couple things you can do with the speakers in this mode. You can, using that tab, put them on top here, like so. And I think that looks okay. That's fine. Not the best, but it's okay. And they hold decently enough. They still aren't the most secure, but what it shows in the instructions is to take this tab and plug it in here in these gray pieces. Those were the calves and his legs. And you can sort of see it's not great with my fuzzy camera, but there's a little bit of gray paint that scraped off because both of these seem to be a little too snug, and it scrapes the paint. There's actually some paint scrapage in there now. So, and they're also hard to get out from there. Everything else is too loose, but that is too tight, and it's kind of annoying. So I don't put them there, but the instructions tell you to stick them in there like this. So maybe your copy is better, maybe you don't mind the paint scratching. I don't like the way it looks, so, or rather the scraping, I mean. So yeah, I just kind of put them up here. And I do wish there was like some way to like stick them on the doors or something. And I don't think you can kind of put them here on the hood. Well, nope, you can put one of them on the hood because of the mirrored tabs. But yeah, there's that. The swords you can put in the wheel wells. You can put them both on one side if you want. They tab into all 4 wheels. If you want, there is also a slot there in the blade, and you can, well actually no, you gotta use the handle, my bad. You can put them on the front, and again, this is where the fact that they're identical and not mirrored is a little annoying. As you can see, they're facing the same way, and the tabs do kind of like, they can sit against the hood depending on which way you want them to face. So you can like get them since they have a slot on both sides, but they're not going to sit evenly because of that. So personally, I usually put them in the wheels because I think that looks cooler. And for the guns, there's slots here on the sides of the spoiler, right there. So you can put them like so. And we'll straighten this out. So you have that. And just for completionism, get back here. There he is with all of his accessories. And it does look nice with everything equipped. Again, like the speakers are the biggest disappointment about this because it's such a cool inclusion, but they don't really fit anywhere very well. Like, I really wish that they had put some slots in the doors for them to sit on the doors. Or, you know, made it so that they don't fall off so freaking easy. Because I do like the way they look on his arms too. But there's that. And we'll do another quick size comparison. Here he is with Studio Series Jazz. So you can see he is definitely a big boy. And I really do like this figure. I really like the design. I do enjoy the transformation for the most part. The hand-thumb thing does give me a little bit of concern, but I think that's more of a longevity issue than this is gonna break randomly within the next like couple months kind of thing. The speakers really are the biggest point of contention for me because like they're so cool and yet so disappointing at the same time. Dig the swords. The guns, while they do have that weird combination thing, they're both pretty cool, and I do like that they made a point to give him his shoulder launcher. And again, I really dig the design of both the robot and the car. They feel very jazz. I really dig it. And I'm sure he would too. But yeah, I think that's about it for what I got to say, because my camera's flashing battery at me now. But I think this guy, I think I'd give him an 8. If that speaker thing wasn't an issue, I would probably bump him up to a 9, maybe even a 9.5. But those speakers really drag down the overall experience for me. The transformation, I do enjoy most of the time. There is a little bit of fiddle factor with it, but it's usually not overly stressful. Just making sure everything's lined up. And, you know, there were a couple parts like the hip skirts and those foldy pieces on the toes that, you know, they're kind of hidden. Yeah, this part here, that I thought I might forget those a lot, but I never seem to forget those. It's all very straightforward, honestly, once you get used to it. So yeah, I do like this figure, and I would definitely recommend him. I give him an 8. But yeah, battery's flashing at me, so I'm gonna wrap up here. And this is Soul Prime 13 saying transform and soul out.